This demonstration is going to show you how to take something that you've been drawing in the model space and move it over into a viewport so that you can generate either a PDF or send something off to a printer or plotter. As you can see, I've got a very basic cube-shaped third angle drawing here, which has an end elevation, front elevation, and a plan. Some hidden detail, probably the scale of the hidden detail is off a little bit, but it doesn't really matter for this. It's a demonstration of how to use the viewport and set things up. I've also got an isometric view of this object. As you can see, it looks a little bit like a washing machine. I've deliberately left out the dimensions. We'll cover that somewhere else. So what you need to do is move over onto the Engineering A3 PDF tab. I'll take you to this screen. So here we have a viewport. Round about the viewport you might be able to see a very thin greenish yellow border. If I hover over it you can see that it highlights. That is the actual viewport itself. And the part around about is the drawing border, and you've got a title block as part of that as well. So the first thing that we need to do is make this viewport live, and the way you do that is by double clicking inside the viewport. Just hover in the white space here someplace and double click the mouse button, the left mouse button. You'll notice that this viewport is now highlighted. Okay, so that makes it live. Now when you're drawing things in the model space over here, that is an infinite space. Your viewport's an infinite space as well, so you may be tempted to try and pan around using the mouse wheel by pressing it down to look for your drawing, but you're not guaranteed you're going to find it that way. So how to get your drawing into the viewport is simple. You just click the mouse wheel a couple of times, and the program will search for the drawing that you've created and place it inside the viewport. So what we need to do is set this viewport up so that all the things in the viewport are laid out as you would expect them to be in a real drawing. So first of all, I'm going to move this drawing here over into this space. So I'm just going to use the mouse wheel just to pan a little bit, just to give me a little bit of room to work. And I'm going to use the move command by typing MOVE. And you can either hit enter at this point or use the mouse to click on there. You could also use the move command by clicking the icon up in the top. Okay, so I'm going to just click here, move. It wants me to select an object, so I'm going to select this entire isometric view, which I did have to scale slightly just to make it more sensible for this size of the drawing. And I'm going to click in the bottom corner. Now it wants to know if you've finished selecting objects, so you have to press enter to tell it that you're done. And the next thing that you're going to be prompted for is a base point. So I'll just take the center point of this. And I can move it left and right at the moment. I can, but it doesn't want to allow me to just move it anywhere I like. And that's because down here we've got the ortho restrict is switched on. So if I take that off, then I've got the freedom to place this on the page inside the viewport anywhere I like. So I'm just going to pop it here arbitrarily, and then I'm going to pan across using the mouse wheel by pressing it down, and I'm going to try and center that in the page. But as you can see, there's still a lot of dead space. Now when you set things out on the page, you're going to have to optimize so that you use the entire space of the viewport as best you can. That might mean changing the offsets between things, either expanding the offset or retracting it to make the things either further apart or closer together. But you can do that yourself. You know how to move things. Certainly the projection symbol needs to be up in the top corner here, and this text here looks a little bit out of place. So I'm going to do some remedial moving things around just to see if I can make things look a little bit better. So again, I'm just going to click on the move command, I'm going to select that as an object, tell it I'm done, and I'm going to give it a base point, and I'm going to move it, where will I put it? I'll pop it just in here at the moment, and then I'm going to take this, I can just click that, grab it by this grip, and I'm going to shift that into here, and I'll press escape to tell it I've finished shifting it. Now, to get the best setup that I can, I'm going to use the zoom command by typing zoom and hitting enter. It's going to want me to specify a corner of the window. Now, I need to choose a window that fits my drawing. So I'm going to try and go a little bit high so that you can see that I'm getting everything in the top of the shot there. And I've gone a little bit to the left so that I can get everything on the left. I want to encompass my entirety of my drawing, try and make both sides the same, but this I'm going to pull down a little bit further. And the reason for that is when it zooms, I don't want it to have any of my drawing or text obscuring the title block. So I think about there, and this is the easiest way I find to do it. You can see it's zoomed in slightly. So we'll call that okay. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to now move again this little piece of text detail here. I'll tell it I'm finished choosing details to move. I'm going to give it a base point and I'm going to drag that just down into the bottom corner here. And I'm going to move this with its grip up into the top corner there. And it doesn't matter if it goes over the top of that text that says 2D wireframe, but we'll pop it in the corner here. Now, that for me as a demonstration would be how to move things around inside the viewport. But the other thing that you need to do at this stage is update the text box. So at the moment you can see the viewport is live. So we need to double click in space over here in this grey area to stop the viewport being live. And now when I hover over the information, the fields inside the text box, I can actually double click on those and a window will pop up and I can change all of the different fields. So at the moment I'm looking at the drawing title. So in this box here I can just change that to whatever I like and we'll call it washing machine. Or we'll save time, we'll just call it washing. Realistically I should probably be in caps lock for this. So washing 1 we'll call it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to change all of these fields, showing you how to do that once is enough, but you can see it's updated there. So at this point, I would say I was quite happy with the layout and we'll pretend that I've filled out all of the information in this title block. And now what I want to do is I want to generate a PDF copy of this drawing. So I'm going to go up to this icon up here, which is the plot icon. And I'm going to click that and I'm going to continue to plot a single sheet, and in a moment the window will pop up. Yep, so this is your setup for plotting. So there's a few things that you need to look at here. Whether you want either to send to a printer or a plotter or as a PDF, you've got a printer plotter drop down that you can pull here. Now it's automatically, in my case, set to PDF, so I'm going to stay with that. But if you wanted, for example, to send to a colour printer or a mono printer, or at the moment I don't have any plotters available, but you could choose as you require. I'm going to stick to this one, PDF. You don't need to give it a name. As you can see, it already has a name. It's called testground.dwg. Now that's the drawing file for this, but when we generate our PDF, the system will actually generate a name based on this, but we'll see that just shortly. The next thing you need to do is decide whether you want to print it in color or black and white, or do you want any other option. I'm going to stick with black pen variable. Okay, this will give you a black and white, so you won't see the purple colours or the blue colours of the hidden detail. If you have transparency or any other options that you've put on your drawing, you need to check which boxes that you want to include in your print, whether it's to PDF or to a plotter. So I would turn on plot transparency, but I can turn that back off again because I don't need it. You've got to make sure that you've got fit to paper checked, and you've got to make sure that you center the plot. Otherwise, if you're sending it to a plotter, it may not fit on the actual page, and if you don't check this box, then you may get a printout where the drawing is closer to one edge of the paper than another, and that's undesirable. I would make sure it's in landscape. Having said that, this drawing could probably have benefited with being printed in portrait, but I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, so what else is there? Nope, that's okay. So we need to apply to layout, otherwise it won't accept any of the changes you've made on this screen. And the next thing to do is always to preview it. See what you're going to end up with. Don't just send things off to create PDFs or plots. So this, okay, yep, not the most professional looking drawing, but again, this was just to show you how to set up a page. I'm happy with that. If you're happy, I'm going to press the plot icon once more. Having said that, if you weren't happy, you just press the escape key and it will take you back to the page where you can make other changes. So anyway, we'll go back to preview. Just allow that to churn. And as I say, I'm quite happy, so I'm going to hit plot. And it's a PDF we're going to make. You can see the system attempting that just now. So see how it's called it test ground A3 PDF, and it automatically picks the correct file extension for you as well. So no need to change this. And then you can just choose where you want to save this to. So you have a pull down here. I'm not going to actually save this, but if I wanted to, I'd probably just stick it in the desktop, or maybe I've got a folder that I can create called CAD. So documents, okay, everything's good. All you need to do is hit save.